Good morning, my dear friends. Hey, I've had some really good time with the Lord already this morning. Goodness gracious, a couple of hours already. I've shared a few scriptures and thoughts from my old bald-headed redneck head this morning over at my community page here on YouTube. Had a really wonderful time with God this morning, and I've got more time to spend with Him today. The home inspection yesterday was the biggest joke I have ever heard in my life regarding home inspections. Y'all, back in the 70s and 80s, I flipped 28 or 29 houses, and I did 80+% of the work myself. Just very little of it did I hire out. I have built new houses. I started my own company when I was 14 years old in new home building. I know, and in college, I started out getting a degree, working on a degree in architecture. And if you are not familiar with what a degree in architecture consists of, it is a lot more than just drawing floor plans for houses and pretty pictures of houses. It is designing a good, sturdy framework and building a house around it. I didn't finish my degree in architecture. I finished my degree in mechanical engineering, but I started out in architecture for 2 years, and I learned a lot from that. This guy yesterday, I would love to see his Kansas State inspector's license. I bet you $1 to a donut he doesn't have one. And if he does, the examiner must have been high on something when he gave it to him. I never saw such bunk is what that reports. It was 99% of it was false. The guy that was purchasing the house, the guy that had the contract, lowball me, and I don't have to sell this house. I don't need this money to go do what I am planning on doing. I want to sell it so I don't have this burden to be dealing with from the other side of the world, but I don't have to sell it. I've got friends that wants it, that has known this house a lot longer than I have, and they're not afraid of it. I have examined this house thoroughly before I bought it, and I inspect it often, just keeping on top of stuff and fixing anything I find that needs fixing. There's nothing wrong with this house, and y'all should have seen that report. It was unbelievable. The way that report is written, this house should be condemned by the city, and it's not. This house was built in 1910. It has withstood many tornadoes and many snowstorms. And it's going to last a lot longer than many of the new houses being built in this area, I guarantee you. I am not a liar. I am not a deceitful person. And that report was just, it was unbelievable. When I was putting a contract on this house to buy it 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, I didn't know any home inspectors up here. I didn't know anything about the real estate in Kansas. I'd never even been to Kansas before. God told me to come up here, and God showed me this house. I paid cash for this house when I bought it. I wanted and I bought it online without seeing it. I wanted a good home inspector to go over it thoroughly before the closing on the loan. And I put that stipulation in the contract. If the home inspector I found and hired found anything major wrong with it, I could get out of the contract. That was written in the contract. And I did an extensive research on home inspectors in Kansas, and I found the one that was most highly recommended and that had the best track record in the state of Kansas, and hired him. He lived 3 or 4 hours away, one way. He had a 3 or 4 hour drive one way to come here. And I told him I wanted him to do the inspection and that I would pay him for his time and his expenses traveling. And he came and did it. And his report was long. It was very extensive, very thorough. He took about 4 hours conducting the inspection. He checked everything, things that I would have never thought about inspecting. And there was nothing in there that prevented me from buying the house, and so I went through with the purchase. And I have been very happy with this house. I love this house. I have told y'all in many videos how much I love this house, and I have told you in several videos after I decided to move to the other side of the world to my new God assignment that I wish there was a way I could take this house with me. And I could, but to have this house moved as far away as I'm going would cost in the millions of dollars. And I can't afford that. And as much as I do dearly love this house, it's not worth millions of dollars. The price I'm asking for it is very fair in today's real estate market, and I'm in no hurry to give it away. I don't have to give it away. I'm not going to give it away. So it's just going to stay on the market. And I did get a new contract on it yesterday afternoon, mid-afternoon or so. I can't remember what time it was, but it's a much better contract than the one that got stopped yesterday, that I rejected yesterday. A much better contract. The only thing I don't like about it is that buyer is having to obtain home financing, which, 90+% of the people buying homes today has to get home financing. I understand that. It's just a long, drawn out process, and I'm really anxious to get over to my new God assignment and get started there. But everything is in God's hands and under God's control. So I'll be patient and wait for this man's loan to go through. He's already got a home loan. He owns a home already, and from what I've been told, he's never missed a payment. So him getting another loan will not be a problem. It's just going to be time consuming. So that's that. And I had another offer that I turned down because of the price. I think people up here don't understand the real estate market very well. I've been in real estate since I was in my teens, and y'all, that was a long time ago. I've bought and sold real estate all over the world. I've had owned a skyscraper in downtown Houston at one time. I've got commercial properties in Texas now that are worth a whole lot more than this house. I'm not new to the real estate market. I keep my finger on the pulse of the real estate market even today. I know what's going on. I know what homes are worth in different parts of the country and in different parts of the world. So nobody who doesn't know anything about real estate or the real estate market or home building or home construction is going to pull the wool over my eyes. So, with all that said, we're going to jump into the second book of Kings. We finished the first book yesterday. Somebody made a comment yesterday on my First Kings reading, said that they really enjoyed our study of the book of Kings. Well, we ain't through yet because Kings has a second book to it, so we're starting in Second Kings today. Second Kings chapter 1, verse 1, and here we go, y'all. Then Moab rebelled against Israel after the death of Ahab, and Ahaziah fell down through a lattice in his upper chamber that was in Samaria, and was sick. And he sent messengers and said unto them, Go, inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron, whether I shall recover of this disease. But the angel of the Lord said to Elijah the Tishbite, Arise, go up to meet the messengers of the king of Samaria, and say unto them, Is it not because there is not a God in Israel that ye go to inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron? Now therefore, thus saith the Lord, Thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art gone up, but shall surely die. And Elijah departed. And when the messengers turned back unto him, he said unto them, Why are ye now turned back? And they said unto him, There came a man up to meet us, and said unto us, Go, turn again unto the king that sent you, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Is it not because there is not a God in Israel that thou sendest to inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron? Therefore thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. And he said unto them, What manner of man was he which came up to meet you, and told you these words? And they answered him, He was a hairy man, and girt with a girdle of leather about his loins. And he said, It is Elijah the Tishbite. Then the king sent unto him a captain of 50 with his 50. And he went up to him, and behold, he set him on the top of an hill. And he spake unto him, Thou man of God, the king hath said, Come down. And Elijah answered and said to the captain of 50, If I be a man of God, then let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And there came down fire from heaven and consumed him and his 50. bam, y'all. Also, he sent unto him another captain of 50 with his 50. And he answered and said unto him, O man of God, thus hath the king said, Come down quickly. And Elijah answered and said unto him, If I be a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And the fire of God came down from heaven and consumed him and his 50. And he sent again a captain, the third 50, with his 50. And the third captain of 50 went up and came and fell on his knees before Elijah and besought him and said unto him, O man of God, I pray thee, let my life and the life of these 50 thy servants be precious in thy sight. Behold, there came fire down from heaven and burned up the two captains of the former 50s with their 50s. Therefore, let my life now be precious in thy sight. And the angel of the Lord said unto Elijah, Go down with him, be not afraid of him. And he arose and went down with him unto the king. And he said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Forasmuch as thou hast sent messengers to inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron, is it not because there is no God in Israel to inquire of his word? Therefore thou shalt not come down off that bed which thou art gone up, but shall surely die. So he died according to the word of the Lord, which Elijah had spoken. And Jehoram reigned in his stead in the 2nd year of Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, because he had no son. Now the rest of the acts of Ahaziah, which he did, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of the Kings of Israel? Chapter 2 of 2nd Kings. And it came to pass, when the Lord would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind, that Elijah went with Elisha from Gilgal. And Elijah said unto Elisha, Tarry here, I pray thee, for the Lord hath sent me to Bethel. And Elisha said unto him, As the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they went down to Bethel. And the sons of the prophets that were at Bethel came forth to Elijah and said unto him, Knowest thou that the Lord will take away thy master from thy head today? And he said, Yea, I know it. Hold ye your peace. And Elijah said unto him, Elisha, tarry here, I pray thee, for the Lord hath sent me to Jericho. And he said, As the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they came to Jericho. And the sons of the prophets that were at Jericho came to Elisha and said unto him, Knowest thou that the Lord will take away thy master from thy head today? And he answered, Yea, I know it. Hold ye your peace. And Elijah said unto him, Tarry, I pray thee, here, for the Lord hath sent me to Jordan. And he said, As the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. And they too went on. And 50 men of the sons of the prophets went and stood to view afar off, and they too stood by Jordan. And Elijah took his mantle and wrapped it together and smote the waters, and they were divided hither and thither, so that they too went over on dry ground. And it came to pass, when they were gone over, that Elijah said unto Elisha, Ask what I shall do for thee before I be taken away from thee. And Elisha said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me. And he said, Thou hast asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so. And it came to pass, as they went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes and rent them into pieces. And he took up also the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and went back and stood by the bank of Jordan. And he took the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and smote the waters, and said, Where is the Lord God of Elijah? And when he also had smitten the waters, they parted hither and thither, and Elisha went over. And when the sons of the prophets which were to view at Jericho saw him, they said, The spirit of Elijah doth rest on Elisha. And they came to meet him, and bowed themselves to the ground before him. And they said unto him, Behold now, there be with thy servants 50 strong men. Let them go, we pray thee, and seek thy master, lest peradventure the Spirit of the Lord hath taken him up, and cast him upon some mountain, or into some valley. And he said, Ye shall not send. And when they urged him till he was ashamed, he said, Send. They sent therefore 50 men, and they sought 3 days, but found him not. And when they came again to him, for he tarried at Jericho, he said unto them, Did I not say unto you, Go not? And the men of the city said unto Elisha, Behold, I pray thee, the situation of the city is pleasant, as my Lord seeth, but the water is naught, and the ground is barren. And he said, Bring me a new cruse, and put salt therein. And they brought it to him. And he went forth unto the spring of the waters, and cast the salt in there, and said, Thus saith the Lord, I have healed these waters, there shall not be from thence any more death or barren land. So the waters were healed unto this day, according to the saying of Elisha, which he spoke. And he went up from thence unto Bethel. And as he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city, and mocked him, and said unto him, Go up, thou bald head, go up, thou bald head. And he turned back and looked on them and cursed them in the name of the Lord. And there came forth 2 she-bears out of the wood, and tare 40 and 2 children of them. And he went from thence to Mount Carmel, and from thence he returned to Samaria. Alrighty, y'all, that was the first 2 chapters of 2 Kings. May God be with you as you pray with him and as you study his word. And y'all, in these end days, when there are many, 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 many liars and deceivers in the world trying to deceive even the elect, we must be alert and vigilant to God and his holy word, and not let the people and the things of the world, the putridness of the world, have any effect on our witness. We must be strong in the Lord. There are so many out there claiming to be Christians who are not Christians. They are deceiving their friends and the world. Be alert, be vigilant. Our adversary, the devil, roams about seeking those whom he may devour. And I see many, many churches and many, many families being ripped apart by the devil. Don't let yours be one of them. Live your life in prayer and in the Word. I have already spent over 3 hours with him this morning, and I've got more time to spend with him. And it's going to be time well spent, my friends. And I pray that y'all do the same. And I'm sharing a lot with you. I've got more to share here in a video, plus this evening's Bible readings. And I've already shared a lot on my community page, and I've got more to share on my community page. But I got other stuff to do too. I may be old, I may be bald-headed, I may be crippled, but I'm not stupid. And I do sincerely believe in and love the Lord. He is my master. He is my guide. It is He I listen to and obey. And I pray the same for all of you. All the foolishness of the world needs to stop, and it's going to stop soon. Jesus is coming back very soon, and He's going to rid the world of all this nonsense and create a new heaven and a new earth, which He will reign on for 1,000 years. All glory and praise to our Lord. I'm excited. I'm anxious. I hope y'all are too. God bless you, my friends.